Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified executive and business coach. I own Aspire Action Coach based here in Southwest Ohio. We're thrilled to have you join us on the Spotlight series today. Very intriguing story. Mr. Mark Elder, who's the owner of Allside Roofing. Tremendous story of a transition, great background as a college and high school football coach, always had an entrepreneurial itch, and now has jumped in, taken on ownership of the business over 3 years ago now, purchased the business, Allside Roofing and Restoration here in the region. You're going to love his story. Before we jump into that, though, if you're new to the series, we're thrilled to have you. I encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you can receive future messages like you're going to hear from Mark Elder today. So without further ado, Mark, thanks for your patience. Appreciate you joining us here on the Spotlight series. If you could take a second, tell us a little bit more about your background and Allside Roofing, and why did you decide to go in the roofing business?
Yeah, well, Todd, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, I guess a little different background than maybe your traditional guest, but I was in coaching as a profession for 23 years, in college for a number of those years, in high school for a handful as well. And when I was wrapping that up and deciding to move into a different direction, yes, I had an entrepreneurial itch. I enjoy being a part of a team, and think that coaching and mentoring is an aspect that I felt like I was good at, and feel like that I'm good at. And so I wanted to go into something that I thought I understood. And home services is an area, we've all had contractors have to come over to our house, and some are good and some are not, and so forth. I thought that that was an avenue that, probably the learning curve as far as just understanding the big picture of what a home service company would look like, made sense. And with some of our experiences, as I said, we've had some good, but had some bad. I thought that there was an area or an avenue where could go in and have a very professional group and provide outstanding service at a reasonable and fair rate to other homeowners, and wanted to be a trusted source for homeowners. And because that's something that Lindsay and I are always looking for if we're trying to have someone come over and fix our we're having problems with our hot water heater right now. So we want to have somebody that we trust and believe would be do a good job and take care of the problem that we're having. And thought that home exteriors with roofing, siding, and gutters would be right up our alley.
Hey, thanks for sharing kind of that background and a little bit more about the services you provide. So maybe go a little bit deeper. Tell us who are kind of like your target customers. So if someone's listening, they should know, hey, I should reach out to Mark and the Allside team.
Yes, we are predominantly residential based. We will do some commercial projects. It has to be the right fit. We try to make sure that holding a standard of excellence is very important to me and to us as a company. And so we want to make sure that we're the right fit for a job, not just oh, here's another job, and looking at what it is from a revenue standpoint. We want to make sure that it's the right fit. So that's why I say on the commercial side, we are selective there, because some projects may not be the right scope for us, but at the same time think that we can be of service to some commercial groups. But generally speaking, we're primarily residential based, and we do roofing, siding, gutters. And even within that, we've over the last couple of years have been trying to narrow that down to what are the areas that we're really best in. And I think that's been a learning curve for me, because at first you're yes, we can do this, but if you want to be an A+ service, just because you can doesn't mean that you're going to be A+ at everything. And so we have narrowed in, and I would say this: most roofing jobs for residential side, we are a fit. And then with siding jobs, we've found areas that we're a little bit better in than others. And so we've narrowed that down to try to focus within the box that we feel that we're best at. And gutters, if it's not like box gutters or something wild and crazy. I mean, if it's just traditional 5 inch or 6 inch gutters, we can pretty much handle that stuff. If it's really specialized, that might be outside of our wheel, but that's who we're dealing with. And I would say that we're within roofing predominantly shingle, as most residential homes are. But we can do metal, we can do different types of flat roofing, and then a handful of different types of siding that I feel like we're pretty good at.
So hey, thanks for sharing. Kind of building upon that, I said, hey, that's where you feel like you're best, right? And kind of picking that niche and focusing there. What is it how you approach it that you think kind of separates you from some of the others?
Yes, and the reason being that some of them are better than others. The one-off ones. There's a couple of them that we've done a hair bit more, and so you're more experienced in those. And but the ones that you've just like, oh yeah, we did one of those 3 years ago, like that may not be the best fit because it's if you're not doing it on a regular basis, the expertise level may not be there. But where we like to separate ourselves is we think that we are going to offer elite level, high level of customer service, from our communication to clearly outlining what we're doing, and then trying to do a fantastic job on the craftsmanship side of things. We talk about it as our 3 C's: communication, clarity, and craftsmanship. And we want to do that at an elite level, at the level where there's some roofing companies that are charging quite a bit more than what we are, and we try to provide that same level of service, that same level of craftsmanship, and doing an elite job like they are, but more in the moderately priced. Not, again, I would say that we're in the middle category as far as price. I mean, if someone's just trying to find the lowest level price, that's not going to be us. And we tell them that unapologetically. Like, listen, you're going to be able to find a lower price than what we're doing, but we're putting on fantastic material. We're doing it with elite level craftsmanship, and able to put on a great roof or great siding at a reasonable price. It's we're not going to be able to put on high level material at the same price that Chuck in a truck is going and putting on a 3 tab that isn't half as good. Of course not, but we're going to put on great material, and we're going to do it really, really well. But we're not going to be in that upper echelon of price where it's just like, oh my goodness, this is crazy expensive. We like to say that it's not, it's the value. We want to be the best value in the market.
Kind of building upon that, hey, you're now in your third year since taking ownership. What have been the marketing strategies that have generated the most growth for you that you want to emphasize?
Yes. So I smile because you know, there is some marketing involved with coaching. I mean, no question about that in some ways, because you're building similarly, you're building a brand. Very so. When I was the head coach at Eastern Kentucky University, we were trying to build a brand, and so we were very much marketing and trying to. Here's the image that we're trying to portray, and so forth. So some of the branding might be similar, but I will say this: you're not. It's completely different when you talk about trying to find clients compared to trying to find prospects, and so I smile because boy, oh boy, did I learn some lessons. Man, if I could just go back, because I had a lot of ideas, and a couple of them were good. Some of them were not, and we certainly took a torch to some paper, some money, and just burnt through just learning like, yeah, that sounded good, but that was not awesome as far as a great method to be able to get clients. And so and I'll say this, that's one area that is difficult because you get hit up I mean, I get 10 to 20 emails daily from different marketing groups, different lead source, all these things. And you learn that it's important to find what works, stick to what works, get really good at your process for how those lead sources come in, how you're handling them, making sure that they're getting great follow-up, customer service, and all of those things. And then when you've maxed that out, that's when it's probably time to add another opportunity when you're capable of doing that, as opposed to I was probably a little bit on the shotgun method early, where it was like, hey, a little of this, little of that, little of this is all going to be great, and then you start to realize that hey, we're dropping the ball in here and in this category. So we burned through a lot of paper, valuable paper, with just being a little bit too widespread. And so then we started to focus in upon just a couple, and let's get really good at those couple. And when we're feeling like we're mastering that, and you can only have so much market share of, whether you're talking about how much market share you're going to have of clients, but also with advertisement, you're only going to get a certain amount of market share there. When we feel like we've kind of maxed out our market share, then it's time to move on and try to find another avenue to continue to more clients.
Hey, Mark, kind of building upon that, then, hey, what's been a past challenge then that you and the team have had to overcome, and what did you learn from it?
Yes, and so the first X number of months, just like the marketing, there's so many things as far as learning curve for me. From people, which I think is the most important part of any business, is people, because people is really what makes the world go round. Yes, we've got tech stacks and things like that certainly help. They help with the communication, they help with the organization, all of those things. But at the end of the day, if you have great people in your organization, uh, the organization is probably going to be very, very successful. And that was an area where I thought that I was pretty darn good on the coaching side, where I was able to identify elite people, high achievers and things along those lines. But that was also a world that I had been in for many, many years, and so forth. I don't know that when I first moved into this space that I exactly had the my eye on the right target, as far as like, is this going to be a high level achiever for that position? And that's probably one of the biggest areas of growth that I've had during my time, is better identifying what that A player looks like, and identifying that person to bring that person in, because definitely ran into some issues where probably did not have the right structure to attract the A people, and B, didn't necessarily bring in the A players, or even if they're not there yet, but they have A capabilities, and how can we help them grow into being an A player? That's been a big area of growth for me, for us as a company. But certainly that led to some challenges early, where I didn't have my exact eyeball on what does an A player in that role look like, and but living and learning, and getting better at that every day.
Appreciate being that open and honest with something that's very challenging for most leaders. I'm curious now, based on what you've learned. You talked about A players, right? What do you look for now to kind of designate somebody as an A player?
Um, yeah, I would say first and foremost, character. To believe that they're going to do the right thing, make the right choices. I think that's extremely important. That you're getting the people, because especially in contracting, I think that there's a lot of skepticism around contractors, and rightfully so. I mean, because oftentimes uh, the homeowner has no idea, of the particulars of um, whatever it is that the contractor's working on. I don't know anything about cars, and when I take it in, I'm just hoping that the person on the other side is going to be honest, because I don't know a daggone thing about it, other than I need to get my oil changed every 3 months and I need to make sure I put gas in it. It's like,
Yeah.
so they could use all types of fancy terms and charge me $10,000 for something that should have been 500, and I would have no idea. I'm just closing my eyes, crossing my fingers, and hoping that they're going to be right. And I want to make sure that the people that we have here, we are doing the right thing for the homeowner, because that's important. And that they're going to do the right thing. They're not going to, try to uh, sell something that's not the right fit, not try to over push something that doesn't need to be done. I think that that's really important, that you have great people that are trustworthy. And then I think it has to be the right culture fit, because we do spend a bunch of time together. I mean, guys are out in the field quite a bit, separate, but we also work together quite a bit. And I think we've got a very good culture here in the at the company, and want to make sure that guys that people, I shouldn't say guys, because we have both guys and girls that work with us, but that the people here fit the culture for us. And we want people that are want to take great care of the customer, want to make sure that they feel that they've been heard and taken care of well, that communicate well, but also are team players. They're not just simply out for themselves, that they're trying to do right by the greater good, and that their own personal goals and aspirations will be met if they just work hard, put in an honest day of work every day, do things the right way, and just follow the process that we've laid out for them, that they'll be able to achieve those goals. So we want to make sure that we've got the right people in the organization that have high character, willing to learn, and they're hungry to do the job at the best of their ability.
Now, kind of playing that forward, what's a current challenge you and the team are taking on right now?
Yes. So I alluded to this earlier, where making sure that the right fit, that we're the right fit, not only that the customer is the right fit for us, and the job is the right fit for us. And that's, I'll say this, because I weigh this on a daily basis, and this is difficult, because we want to make sure that we're doing a great job for the customer, and but at the same time, we have to know where can we do a great job for the customer. And I will say this, that it sounds a lot easier than it actually ends up playing out, because you'd be shocked, but there are individuals that have issues with their home, that and they can't find someone to come help them. And obviously that's not like the hey, I have this huge home and I need a brand new roof. Yeah, I mean, there's 100 guys. Everybody, the door, the line is down the street for that. But we will run into customers that it's like we've called 10 places and no one will take this project on. And I mean, the goal is to help people, is to serve. And so it's like, as much as you sit there and you go, hey, I want to serve this client because they need help, and daggone it, they can't find anybody. Um, but the flip of that is also like, well, what if that's in one of the categories that we can do, but we don't, that's not necessarily what we should be doing because it's not our best suit. And that's the balancing act, because you want to help that person, and they are desperate because they've called a million people. It's not the 50 square house and they want the most up the highest shingle. I mean that's easy. But it's the other projects where nobody wants to take it on, and you want to help the client, but and if it does fit within our box, then we will. But if it's one of those like, gosh darn, this is not our area of expertise, but they're begging us, that's a difficult no. But I think that we're doing best by the client, by the customer, and for ourselves, to actually say no, even when they are in a bit of a desperate situation. Now, we always try to follow up with a recommendation. I mean, shoot, this actually happened with a commercial job here the other day, where someone called and they had a leak, and we do most flat roofs, but they had a specific flat roof that could we have done it? We could have, but I just I didn't feel great about us going in there to do the fix on that particular material. So I said no. But I had a friend that does do that. And so I called my friend first, made sure that they were available. And then I called back and said, hey, listen, I got this lined up. If you want to go with it, I can cancel it, but he'll be out there at noon. Does that work? We can't take this on. And so I thought that was a bit of the best of both worlds, where it was like we had to say no, but at the same time came up with a solution for them. And they agreed. I mean, at the end of the day, they were like, yeah, please, that's great. Thank you. But that's what we try to do if it's not the right fit. But that is it's hard. The judging of that stuff and making sure that we're fitting into the right box is probably one of the biggest challenges that we're facing right now.
Great example. Thanks for sharing. So, like I said, we mentioned, hey, you're in year 3 so far, but what's your longer term dream for the business? If you look down 5, 10 years down the road, where do you see the business getting to?
Yeah, that's a great question that I don't necessarily have the exact image. I don't know exactly what that looks like, for a number of different reasons. I mean, we've got 4 kids. They're 10, 8, 6, and 5. Um, I'm 48 years young right now, and I don't know what that's going to look like as far as uh, you know 10, 12, 15 years down the road. you know what do any of the kids have interest in the business, and hey, maybe I would come in and take that over someday. Maybe that would be a route, or maybe not. So it's a little difficult for me to say that. I guess I would say, from just a little bit more immediate. We want to continue to improve our processes. We want to be by far, provide the absolute best customer service and product that we possibly can. We want to do it at a reasonable, affordable rate, and we want to tighten that process up as much as we possibly can. I'm hopeful that the byproduct of us doing that on a consistent basis will be that we will continue to grow, that we will continue to take over market share in this area. Would there be a possible expansion? Yes. I mean, I was born and raised down in Cincinnati, so would we continue? I mean, we already go down towards Cincinnati, but would that include potentially having that be a bigger portion of it? Potentially. I mean, I guess I want to see what that looks like. And we're certainly not doing that this year. We will go down to 275 loop, but really not inside of that, outside of personal friends or family type of deal. But would we want to do that? Maybe. But that's probably still a year or two away from deciding if that's going to be what we do. But I just want to continue to become the best that we can be, and hope that turns into taking over more market share. What that looks like down the road, I probably need another year or so to figure that out. But I am excited because this past year we had our largest the largest number of customers that we were able to help this past year out of the history of the company, and so that was very positive and encouraging. So if we can continue to help more people and do it at a high level, I'm sure that whatever the goals are down that road, we'll be able to accomplish them.
Hey, thanks for going deep there on that. So and being open. Hey, still figuring it out as we go. Most of us are on that. So
Yeah.
You talked about team culture, a lot of learnings there. So I'm curious, eventually, given your background, what are some of the things you do day in or week to week to kind of really reinforce that culture?
Yeah. So as far as that is concerned, when we talk about culture, I think that there's a lot of times where there's groups that are putting a bunch of phrases on walls and things that, hey, here's our the things that we believe in, and here's our all that stuff. And I once upon a time was very big on that. But I've actually gone away from it a little bit. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not defined and it's not in my head, but I always thought that words on a wall mean nothing if they aren't believed and lived by the individuals that are there. They're just words on a wall at that point in time. And so I'm not big on that and some of the rah-rah stuff. We certainly have things that we believe in, and doing right by the homeowner is absolutely positively at the forefront of that, being upfront, honest, communicating clearly, and so forth. But I would say this: we try to do our best of that is actually how we speak internally every day. And I found that to be far more effective than words on a wall that we recite, or we talk about every year at the once a year meeting. It's like, oh yeah, let me dust this off and talk about core values and so forth. Like, we're not defining those things. Why? Because if people can't describe, if they don't necessarily have to use the right word, but if people can't describe, hey, tell me about all side roofing. Describe what are the core values that you think all side roofing stands for. If by being a part of the meetings on a daily basis and knowing how we go about taking care of customers and the messaging that is extremely consistent, if they can't get basically the blueprint of what I would say, may not be the exact word, but something that's very similar to what I would put as like one of our core values. If they can't explain that, then it's not a core value. is just a word on a wall or a word on a piece of paper that we dust off once a year and talk about at the annual meeting or whatever. So I think that what you do on a daily basis is far more important than anything that you just put in writing, and say, hey, make sure you look that over. So I look at it as more of a daily approach, and those core principles are internal in me, and they are conveyed to the team on a daily basis. And that hits home far more than putting a bunch of definitions and fancy words on a wall and things like that.
Example and living that out, making it real practical for folks. So, Mark, our time flies in these conversations. So, as we look to wrap up here today, what are the best ways for folks to learn more about Allside and or to get connected with you and the team?
Yes. So, if you want to just learn about Allside, our website is allsideroof.com. And my email, if someone wants to reach out individually, it's mark@allsideroof.com, Mark with a K.
Mark, and again, all that information will be in the show notes for folks who are listening to the series as well. So, Mark, as we wrap up, what are you inspired by today?
Um, frankly, my family. I mean, that is what I get inspired by. I mean, I have a strong. I mean, that's probably my guiding deal, as far as I feel compelled to provide a great household for our family, and so wanting to be able to provide the life that we want for our children, and so I'm inspired by that on a daily basis. But I'll say this: is it's not just monetary. And this is where I'm struggling to balance, because I think that providing a great family life, there is a financial aspect of it. I mean, yes, you're trying to provide the needs, and you want your kids, if they want to go play soccer on a team, you want to be able to say yes, so yeah, we can do that, and so forth. But presence is a big part of it, and me being a present husband and father as well, while trying to provide all the things that are needed from a financial standpoint. It's that balancing act, and I'm inspired by that, of doing the best that I can to provide a great environment for our family, both from a financial and a presence standpoint.
All right. Well, hey, Mark, thank you for sharing your story. Mark Elder, owner of Allside Roofing and Restoration. So, to our viewers, we're thrilled to have you join us. Again, if you haven't had an opportunity, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button, and also please hit the like button on this episode. That helps us share the message to other business owners and leaders such as yourself. And so, with that, again, I thank Mark Elder for joining us today, sharing his journey, his lessons learned, and wish you all a terrific day. Thank you.